Welcome. Today we will delve into archaeological mysteries that challenge our understanding of ancient civilizations, their technologies, and their level of development. What if some discoveries point to achievements far beyond what is commonly believed about the past? Isolated facts and mysterious findings are like hammer blows to established dogmas. Behind the iron dagger made from meteoritic metal found in the tomb of Tutankhamun lies a puzzle. How did the ancient Egyptians work with iron 2,000 years before it became widely used? At the same time, the discovery of 5,500-year-old cat remains completely alters our notions about the domestication of these animals. Could our knowledge of ancient technologies and cultures be based on omissions and hidden revelations? The stakes are the truth about whether ancient civilizations possess knowledge and skills that seem impossible today. In this video, we will clarify all these enigmas and reveal what lies behind the facade of official history. Are you ready to see what has previously remained beyond understanding? Then, let's begin. In the depths of time, concealed beneath layers of dust and oblivion, lie secrets that demand more than mere attention. They demand uncovering. Beyond the usual explanations, paradoxes and mysteries are hidden that force us to reconsider established views of different eras. Among these unspoken chapters of history are discoveries that pose formidable challenges to scientific and historical theories. The ordinary person might think that modern archaeology has already uncovered everything, that all mysteries are behind us. But a closer look raises the question: what if our ideas about ancient technologies, knowledge, and abilities are merely part of the truth? What if, behind the veneer of scientific assumptions, there are facts capable of literally overturning the entire picture of the past? Let's start with the most striking and controversial discovery, a find that shook the entire archaeological community. In the early 20th century, while leading an expedition to the legendary tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun, Howard Carter encountered a mysterious object that defied explanation. Among the rich offerings and coffins, he uncovered a special iron dagger. And not just any iron. This iron, in its composition, was indistinguishable from meteoritic metal. At a time when the use of iron was still considered a hallmark of later eras, this metal was nearly unoxidized, despite millennia buried underground. How could this happen? How could the Egyptians, who had lost knowledge of extracting and smelting this metal, produce weapons from meteoritic iron? The evidence is indisputable. The material from which the dagger was made contains deposits of coib, astronomite, and other elements that are characteristic exclusively of cosmic bodies. This discovery prompts one of the most important questions. Could ancient civilizations have possessed knowledge far surpassing their apparent capabilities? In the 23rd century, archaeologists took an even more extraordinary step. They discovered additional iron objects, skillfully crafted and precisely dated to an era when the use of iron was still in its infancy. These artifacts indicate that the Egyptians utilized meteoric iron in the production of weapons and jewelry 200,000 years before the development of iron metallurgy. In other words, they not only knew of its existence, but also possessed the technology to process it. Think about this. A civilization considered highly advanced because of its achievements in writing, architecture, and religion demonstrates almost mystical knowledge of cosmic metals. Their technological level rises to a completely different plane, since smelting meteoric iron is no simple task. It requires not only specialized knowledge, but also a high level of technological preparation. What is particularly frightening and astonishing is that such facts suggest the use of extraterrestrial materials may have been widespread in ancient times, and it's only the loss of knowledge that leads us to consider these achievements rare and unique. Looking more broadly, it becomes clear that humans in ancient times could have possessed knowledge about space that we can scarcely imagine. What if, precisely during those eras when every culture sought answers about the origin of the world, ancient peoples we're closer to unraveling the universe's secrets than we previously thought, not only in terms of knowledge about celestial bodies or astronomy, but also regarding materials that provide clues about the cosmic origins of their weapons, jewelry, and ritual objects. But metals are not the only surprises. Mid-millennium, archaeologists began discovering entirely unusual remains. One day in the Fayum province, an area where, during the era of the ancient state, a culture flourished seemingly incapable of profound knowledge of domesticated animals and their role in society, remains of cats were found. These figures and skeletons date back approximately 5,500 years. Moreover, it was not just about wildcats wandering into household structures. Evidence shows that these animals were actively and systematically used as helpers in pest control, as cult objects, and as domestic items. What does this mean? Does it imply that dialogues between humans and cats began earlier than we thought? Perhaps even in those old times, when Earth was experiencing the formation of its first cities and society was transitioning towards a more conscious use of animals, someone noticed the unique properties of these creatures. Gratitude for zoo technical achievements may be less recent than it seems. Maybe active domestication of cats started thousands of years before the New Kingdom, when, according to the traditional version, this practice first appeared with the rise of the already advanced Egyptian states. This fact challenges the old myth about the essence and timing of cat domestication. Their role in the fight against rodents, the necessity of protecting supplies, and maintaining hygiene are quite logical and obvious, considering that pest control has been one of the primary tasks set by primitive humans. This means these processes took place much earlier and most likely bore fruit within the first settlements, during an era when high technologies were still unimaginable. Therefore, the level of ancient agricultural knowledge was far broader than we tend to believe. All these findings are like labels on a mystery, demanding decoding. They reveal that the history of human civilization development is much more complex than it appears. Shouldn't it tell us not only about technological achievements and knowledge that became part of the core of culture, but also about contacts with space that left traces such as meteorite metals or ancient cult figures? If facts demonstrate that ancient people possessed knowledge about extraterrestrial materials and used them in their weapons and rituals, how can we explain their level of development if we still consider them only creators of the earliest cultural forms? Doesn't it seem that our history is just a part of a much more astonishing, multifaceted story, hidden behind layers of time that slip away from view? How accurate are our ideas about the past? And how many more wonders await us if we dare to peer into the depths of archaeological sites that remain untouched, undeciphered? Mysteries capable of shattering modern dogmas and challenging the entire picture of civilizational progress we regard as truth? That is the question that haunts us. If the most vivid evidence of ancient knowledge and technology has been concealed, hidden, or forgotten, what else might be lurking within the depths of archaeological secrets? And which discoveries could deliver a piercing blow to science, forcing us to reconsider all of human history? Because, ultimately, the mysteries of the past are not just intriguing riddles. They are the building blocks of the foundation of our culture. It is precisely the knowledge that survives only as traces left by oblivion that hold the keys to unlocking the true past. The time of those who are not afraid to face the truth has come. Are we capable of lifting the veil of secrecy and answering the essential question? What else is hidden behind the walls of archaeological sites? What other truths could shatter our dogmas and overturn our understanding of the world? The answer is somewhere out there, deeper in history, awaiting its moment. Millions of years ago, during that tragic moment when the world was on the brink of catastrophe, something grand and destructive happened. Evidence of this cosmic impact, which forever changed the face of the planet, has been preserved in Earth's history. Research shows that approximately 66 million years ago, during the era when dinosaurs dominated the Earth, the sky suddenly became shrouded in clouds of dust and gases. This explosion, more powerful than any nuclear bomb ever dropped on the planet, released unimaginable amounts of particles into the atmosphere. As a result of this impact, the ozone layers were destroyed, many species vanished forever, and the Earth itself plunged into chaos. The boundaries of time, recorded in the depths of North Dakota, serve as a unique testament to this global disaster. There, within fossil layers, scientists have found evidence that the events of that period were accompanied by powerful earthquakes, tsunamis, fires, and atmospheric storms that ravaged all living life. These findings are not just scientific discoveries, they are fragments of a catastrophe that literally erased ancient ecosystems from the face of the Earth, paving the way for a new beginning. Such scale of destruction raises the question, how could something as complex as ancient structures, built with technologies unavailable in eras when humans were just beginning to grasp fire and stone tools, have come into existence? In Turkey, in places that for centuries have been objects of mysticism and legend, archaeologists have uncovered stone platforms that inspire awe. Up to 5 meters high and weighing as much as 10 tons, these structures were erected about 11,000 years ago, at a time when the territory of modern Turkey was still inhabited by people using primitive tools, unfamiliar with pottery, and incapable of constructing large chambers for storage and processing. How is it that such constructions were possible? Is it possible that these stone structures were created by people with technologies surpassing all our current understanding? Or are these relics evidence of ancient craftsmen possessing knowledge and capabilities beyond the reach of modern science? Delving into the shadows of history, one cannot ignore Victoria Cave in southern England. There, in the 19th century and 1920, archaeologist Michael Horner stumbled upon something truly sensational. Inside this underground repository, he discovered over 2,000 artifacts, tools, bones, and fossils. Among them were remains of exotic animals, such as rhinoceroses and, notably, elephants, species characteristic of climates different from those that existed in late Pleistocene Britain. These findings do not fit into the conventional understanding of the ancient climate conditions in Britain. They suggest that during that time, the climate was much warmer, wetter, and more diverse than previously thought. The migrations of these exotic animals point to complex migratory flows associated with real changes in the global ecosystem. At the same time, traces of more ancient civilizations have been found in the archaeological layers across modern Greece, in the ruins of long-abandoned cities and temples. These civilizations existed long before the legendary Greek settlements. Heinrich Schliemann, the great archaeologist who excavated Troy, noted a strange discrepancy. His discoveries indicate that there were even older settlements and structures that far surpassed the ones described in ancient legends in terms of scale, complexity, and technological sophistication. Architectural structures, fortifications, and urban complexes all testify to multiple stages of development. The layered nature of the cultural heritage shows that human civilization in this region did not evolve in a linear fashion, but followed a complex multi-level progression, encompassing eras of which we often have little or no awareness. The research conducted in the 20th century is especially noteworthy. In Germany, confidential sources reveal the discovery of a network of 870 fortified bunkers stretching over 5,000 kilometers. These structures are part of a defensive system known as the Atlantic Wall, created during the tumultuous times of the Great War. What is particularly intriguing is that, after decades of being buried, this network was once again brought to the attention of scientists and researchers. Analyses have shown that these bunkers were not only used for protection, but also served as living and working spaces. Inside, elements of ventilation, water supply, and communication systems have been preserved. so complex and well thought out that one must wonder, who built these megastructures? What knowledge was available to their creators? Does this resemble a prototype of the very technologies now considered achievements of modern engineering? And if such sophisticated systems were developed in recent history, what is hidden beneath ancient monuments, which are usually attributed to primitive means? These facts are not isolated stories or coincidences. They are alarming signals, pointing to the fact that our understanding of history is far from the truth. They call for a reevaluation of existing theories and a questioning of the accepted concepts regarding the development of our ancestors. Comprehending the scope of past catastrophes, the creation of incredible megastructures, and ancient technologies all suggest that human history is far more complex, layered, and fascinating than it appears at first glance. It is quite possible that today we are only touching the surface of vast knowledge about the past. What if there are hidden depths of knowledge beneath the layers of time? Knowledge capable of radically transforming our understanding of human mind power and the technological achievements of ancient civilizations. And the most important question is, how many more mysteries remain in the dark depths of history, capable of one day confirming or disproving our boldest hypotheses? What could be the consequences for those daring enough to look behind the curtain of ancient secrets? Time demands answers, and history itself calls us to explore the limits of what is possible. In the dark abyss of archaeological finds, among thousands of manuscripts, fossils, and ancient artifacts, lie not only genuine treasures of the past, but also numerous illusions, capable of overturning our entire understanding of history. Human history is not merely a chain of events recorded in books and dates. It is a complex, sometimes tangled labyrinth that is exceedingly difficult to penetrate, especially when counterfeits and distortions get involved. And it is these forgeries that often turn out to be crystal clear keys to solving long-held historical mysteries that once seemed unreachable. In 1949, during the post-war era of optimism and technological innovation, remains of a human were discovered across the Canadian landscape. It seemed to be a long-awaited breakthrough, a milestone in archaeology, evidence that humanity had finally approached the truth. But, surprisingly, these remains sparked intense debate, raising waves of doubt and questions. Researchers armed with the latest methods expected to find an age confirming the African origin of humans, meaning that our ancestor appeared on Earth roughly in the 20th century BCE. However, the results contradicted this scenario. The age was approximately 600 years at minimum, which did not fit accepted dogmas. The scientists of that time faced a serious challenge. What to do with this contradiction? Was everything we'd been told for centuries a lie, an illusion, an error? Or was everything far more complicated? You might be surprised. A few years later, when technologies advanced significantly enough to date the remains more accurately, these shocking results not only stood up, but gained strength in scientific circles. It was probably concluded that this human skeleton indeed dated to about 600 years old. This fact displaced previous notions about human origins, from Egypt, Africa, the tropics, or other well-known starting points for human migration. It forced scientists to reconsider their earlier hypotheses and hypothetical lines of development. In the race to prove the existence of the oldest human, this case became both a cornerstone and a stumbling block. It was at that point that forgeries entered the scene. By the 20th century, archaeology was no longer only about discovery, but also about confronting fakes, some highly skillful, others quite crude. In the post-war years, especially during a period when archaeological finds often served as tools in conflicts over national interests or scholarly pretensions, bones and teeth appeared, sometimes clearly forged. Bones that at first glance seemed ancient, with drawings, unusual structures, and attributed to ancestors, ultimately underwent close examination. And what was revealed? It soon became clear that these bones were fakes, artificial creations deliberately assembled to produce the strongest possible effect. Bold experts and scientists, armed with scientific skepticism, quickly uncovered these forgeries and raised an alarm. Do not jump to hasty conclusions. Do not believe everything your eyes show you. These cases held significance, not only for science. They revealed a broader problem: how fragile our picture of history can be under the influence of conscious or accidental forgeries. After all, if a fake passes verification and becomes part of the archaeological record, it can affect our theoretical understanding of civilization development, influence interpretations of ancient texts, distort models, and most importantly, undermine trust in knowledge itself. Neither scientists nor sciences are invulnerable. In the 21st century, when technology can determine the age of objects with an accuracy of just a few years, questions arise. What about before that? Was there ever an era when people literally filled ancient sites with polyethylene bones, creating pseudo-histories? The evidence we deem indisputable today is often based not only on chemical analysis, but also on historical context, comparisons, expert opinions. Yet increasingly, specialists demand new methods of verification. As experience shows, incorrect dating and fake artifacts could have played a role in shaping false theories about the development of ancient civilizations. It's possible that some well-known histories, considered proven, are nothing more than the result of accidental errors, forgeries, or even outright provocations. If such cases exist, how much can we truly trust our knowledge? How much of our modern understanding of human antiquity remains a construct built on shaky ground? This raises troubling questions. Could years, centuries, or even millennia have left behind not only evidence of true events, but also dark, carefully concealed or forgotten chambers? And what if our historical narrative is merely an illusion created to hide deeper secrets? In this game of masks and forgeries, in this intellectual theater of archaeology, each find can become either a bridge to the truth or another trap, another fake that lures us further into a labyrinth of information. And what if everything we consider paramount is only part of a system designed to distract and conceal the real? Could something else be hidden within this intangible, constantly shifting picture? What remains concealed beneath layers of pills, spears, ultraviolet images, and radiocarbon datings? Is this where the whole uncomfortable truth lies? That our history is not only a collection of facts, but a living, breathing, often distorted portrait of humanity seeking its destiny in the dark corners of the past? And perhaps, at the very moment we begin to doubt every discovery, every figure, we first truly realize that history is not only knowledge, but also a game in which someone decides who is who and what really happened.